Hi guys, it's Ebony and I'm back again with another video. I hope this video finds you well. Um, as you all know, lately I've been providing a lot of resources in regards to just basic tips, strategies, things that can kind of help us make the most of this time, even though, it's literally a disaster what's happening. I'm just gonna be honest, it's a disaster, especially here in Detroit. I mentioned in previous videos how here it's just a hot spot. It's really bad. And it's crazy because, like, again, I talk to people across the country every day for work. And, just it's insane, that here it's so bad. In other places, it's barely happening at all. But at any rate, I wanted to be a resource during this time. So in addition to providing resources, I'm going to also start bringing in experts. And as you can see, I have my first expert on my channel today, and she happens to be my friend. I've mentioned her before. If you are new to the page, you're going to get to know her today. This is Joanna. She's one of my best friends. We both actually used to be teachers. We're both former teachers. Joanna has segued from teaching into entrepreneurship. She is a community leader, a role model, and just an incredible mom. And so I really just wanted to spend some time with her today, finding out more resources, and also giving some advice, because right now, everyone is literally a teacher. If you have kids right now in your home, you are a teacher. So now what? What do you do? And even being a teacher, I still find the challenges, because I know that I want to be 100% for my kid. I know what it takes to make amazing scholars, and I know what the expectation is. And I want to be all of that for my kid. But the reality is right now I'm still balancing a job, a career, and it's pretty demanding. So we're going to find out and get into some tips and just ways and all of that. But first, I wanted to start with you, Joanna. First of all, hello and welcome to my channel.
Ebony, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you can make the time. And so first, I just wanted you to just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, background, whatever you want to share.
Sure. Well, as you know, because that's where we met, we actually were teachers together. So I had quite a few good years in teaching, and then decided to change paths a little bit after having my two children. And it just happened naturally. Decided to work towards starting a business with my sister, who is a retired veteran. And we have a business called Birdy Boutique, in which we make car seat ponchos and birthday outfits. And then one of our new flagship product lines are learning blankets, which is really awesome because I get to bring in some of my educational background to create these and share them with other moms and educators as well.
Awesome. And so pretty much, I don't know if you want to share this right now on the channel, but, I speak a lot about, how educators did transition out. What kind of led you to make that decision? I know for me, a lot of it had to do with, I was over testing kindergartners. I was over the emphasis on testing brought down from the state, but I do want to share with people, because so many people tune in that are former teachers or are teachers right now, and people just interested in maybe changing careers. So if you could kind of share what drove you to make that decision and just any information you'd like to share on that.
I think you're absolutely right. I think at my ending point there, it kind of felt more robotic and less with the creativity. So I felt like I was expected to kind of teach by the book, and that's just not my personality. I like to teach out of the box, and I like to be creative. But at that same time, I had a life-changing point, having a child. I also had a birth injury, as you know, which left me wheelchair bound for quite some time, learning how to walk again, all that. So it was just a natural transition. And at the same time, my sister was retiring from the Army, and it just all happened naturally. And I felt like it happened in a way that it was supposed to. So for me, it was a really good transition. I'm still able to use my background of education with my own children. And now through different products as well, through Birdy Boutique, is offering moms and other educators things to be able to easily use at home with kids to help them learn.
And I love that. And I see so many of women like us that were former teachers still using their expertise just in different ways. But I definitely just always want to share that. And I also now want to kind of segue into where we're at right now. You know, you're a mom, you have 2 children. Could you go ahead and share their ages and everything just with our audience? I'm not sure if we already went over that.
Sure. Well, we have 2 children here at home, and then my husband and I are both currently working, I would say, more than full-time out of the house in our careers as well. And our kids are almost 6 and 7, so they're kindergarten and first grade. And it's, you know, as everybody knows, it's a very tough situation right now. I mean, everybody is still adapting. Everybody, I think, is still transitioning, and I think they will be for a long time. It is hard to accept this as a new norm, but I think everybody is handling it the best way that they can.
I agree, especially here, like I said, in Michigan, where it's literally a hot spot. I mean, we're losing people left and right. So many people have it. I think the recent news report said over 500 nurses and doctors at like Beaumont are infected. I mean, it is unreal right now. So I wanted to now segue into the challenges right now. We're all home, you know, and even like I said earlier in the video, me being a former teacher, I feel the pressure, you know, I feel it.
Even
And
sometimes more, right? Because we are former educators. So I think that even our spouses, even our family members have kind of higher expectations of us to do something absolutely amazing and life-changing with our kids during this time while we're trying to juggle everything, because that's our background, right? So we have to be above and beyond. I feel the pressure for sure.
yeah, and another thing too, that's a part of our background, I feel, is like teachers are masters at sharing information and sharing resources and like just knowing when to ask for help and when to reach out for help. And so that's what like again, if we're in this boat, everyone's in this boat, everyone has concerns and everyone's trying to figure out the best way to navigate during this time. So I really wanted to offer some tips today, talk about some of those challenges, and then 2, direct them to your resources, because you, in addition to having the merchandise, you have a fantastic blog on Birdy Boutique. Is it .com too? Can you go ahead and share that website?
Sure, it's just blog.birdyboutique.com, Birdie with a Y.
Okay, and I'll put it in the description too as well. I'll include it there.
Ebony, as soon as this happened and as soon as I started hearing rumors that school might be closing, I immediately just started typing. I just started typing and making random notes, and it just came together in a very, 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 very long blog piece that kind of, I felt, gave decent advice on where to start, how to get organized, and where to go slowly, one step at a time. And I felt like it was a good kind of collaborative effort to give a little piece of everything. You know what I mean? Just kind of a little bit of everything that parents might find helpful in a time like this to transition.
So yeah, so again, you said a little bit in the blog, but there are tons of resources in the blog. I think there are like over 200. I've used some of them myself, resources in terms of screen time. You know, could you just share with us just some of the things that people can find when they go on this blog? Because it's literally so organized. One of the most organized spots where I've seen all this placement, because I've been searching. As a teacher, I know where to look.
Typing one night and went like literally 2 whole nights in a row without sleeping. I just felt like I had to get it out there, because it's nice that after you leave, you know, being in an official position in education, to be able to still contribute to the community, you know, not trying to sell anything, not trying to pitch anything. I just wanted to share some of the resources because, you know, I felt like I have at times taught in schools where resources, where in a lot of education, are very limited. So you have to be very creative and kind of, you know, make things by yourself, create activities that you can kind of make from things that you have around. So I just felt compelled to and pushed to do that. And so if you go on there, you'll find that, you know, I just kind of go over the basics. First of all, everyone is having these challenges. We're all in it together. That's for sure. You know, we're all trying to transition, and that includes parents and children. So I included a section on speaking to your kids about the virus, which at this point, I think most of us already have. You know, they hear us talking about it. They hear about it on the news. I think it's kind of, you know, difficult. Even before school got out, my daughter was telling me kids in class were talking about it. So I think at this point, they're rather familiar with it. I think it's important to be honest with the kids. You know, we can't pretend this isn't happening. We can't hide it, because I don't think that's fair. And even when I was a teacher, I was always fairly honest with my students and open about things. I didn't sugarcoat things very much. And that's the way that that we've been raising our kids here at home too. I think, as you mentioned, I know in one of your videos, it's important to stay positive as much as possible and limit a lot of this information coming at you and at the kids, and focus on what you can control in your, in your home and outside of your home, etc., that you cannot. So, and I think it's important to set expectations, but to be realistic and flexible, to be able to adjust things as you go. If you're doing an activity with your kids, or they're working and you see that they're getting agitated and they're stopping every 2 minutes, that means that it's time for a break, and it's time to take a little breather and do whatever it is that you want to do to take that break. And I think another important thing that you mentioned that I have actually probably failed at is getting dressed every day, getting yourself and your kids
not really dressed, not just daytime PJs,
And I think that is something I need to work. You get so comfortable here, and you're working from home, you get up, I feel like a million things are hitting you at once. You want to get your emails checked, you want to start, you're getting phone calls, but your kids need to get situated too, and breakfast needs to be made and then cleaned up, and when do you have to fit that time in. So it's important, I think, to get up early, and that's one of my goals too, is to start getting ready for the day every day and getting my kids ready, because they have been doing a lot of PJs too.
Now Fridays I allow it, just for like Fridays are half days around here, so we allow the PJs. But it's mainly a mental thing for me. I actually, if I do that, I work better. I get started. It helps me wake up in a sense.
I've already read a couple studies like that too, Ebony, where they say that if you prepare as if you're actually going into the office, that you are more productive, and you take things more seriously as well.
Yeah, so and that's what I found. So again, I want to talk to you again. You have 2 little ones, and one of the biggest, struggles that a lot of parents are having right now is how to balance that screen time. I want to know what's working for you right now, because it is different having them home all day. And I mentioned earlier in previous videos, I do infuse tech throughout the day, because again, they're using Google Classroom here and there. I do appreciate it that in kindergarten, her teacher is old school. So we do a lot of hands-out things with nature, a lot of arts and crafts activities. And again, me being a teacher, I supplement, every this week is the solar system. So we're doing, more hands-on things. But what's working for you in terms of balancing that out? Are you allowing the, tablet during the day? How is it working for you? And this is a no judgment zone, because it's whatever works. No judgment zone. So whatever works.
We have a main schedule that we work off of that is on the blog, that basically kind of gives an overlay of how our days mostly will be structured. But one tip that I actually read a few weeks ago that I've been using, and it's been working so great, is to actually create the night before, kind of reflect on your day and create a little sticky note for your child or both of your kids, an individual little sticky note that kind of gives them their tasks for the day. So for example, every morning I try to start out with the Cosmic Kids Yoga is the best.
I love my Cosmic Kids.
Oh my God, it's wonderful, isn't it? So every morning the kids know that after breakfast, they transition right into the living room and they know how to turn it on by themselves. They stream it onto the TV and they do a few sessions of that. And I think that is such a calm, peaceful start to our day that I'm really appreciating it, and that's something we're going to continue. So some other things I'll put on the sticky note is, for example, what they're doing for reading and writing that day. So my daughter is in 1st grade and she's challenging herself to read at least 1 chapter book per day. And then she is pulling vocabulary words out of that book. She's writing about it. She's writing alternate endings. She's writing questions she has to the author and about the characters. And then my son, who's in kindergarten, is focusing more on the early reader books, the Bob sets, using tools like different sight word activities from Birdy Boutique, and from also one of my favorite teacher bloggers on Instagram, The Active Educator. And she has some amazing tips for kindergartners. And then she also has a really amazing YouTube channel that maybe we can link below, with a lot of activities that she records and the kids can do right along with her, songs and different things as well.
We'll make sure we add that in. Awesome. I'm just going to say, we'll make sure we add that in the description, her contact and a link to her page and everything. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think that some other things that, let's see, that we include on the sticky notes. And like I said, I usually prepare these the night before so that in the morning when things get hectic, we already have, you know, the kids aren't coming at me saying, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? They know after the yoga, they get their books and they know how to transition, and they know what's expected of them. And I think that is something so important too, because as soon as all of this went down, I told my husband, I said, we are setting high expectations from the start. And I'm not, you know, but a little I am. But I think that I want to, just like with my students, and, you know, the higher expectations you set, the more they will succeed.
I believe in that too.
And they don't know that they have to, you know, be up here. If they can just do down here, do you think they're going to push themselves to be up here? I don't think they are.
Fun fact too, you guys, since we're here, Joanna was like my mentor teacher too when I first started teaching. So my first year teaching, new teacher, I was like 22 years old or 23, I think 23. I was young. And she was my teaching partner, and that's how we began our friendship, more than, I think, probably like even more than 10 years ago now. I don't know. Might be showing too much my age. I don't know. But yeah, she, when I tell you a teacher that went above and beyond, she was also voted Teacher of the Year here in our state that year. So an incredible teacher partner for my first year. And I know you're really into nature. You can talk a little bit about that too, just touch on that. I know you're really into encouraging outdoor activity, and it's inspired me too. Like, you know, yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Ebony. And by the way, I think we're a great team together. We bounced ideas off each other and did a lot of, you know, class activities with each other's students as well that I think were
You were great. It was
amazing.
my first year.
So I think that, you know, so like I said, those expectations I think are really important to set the bar high. And I think that goes for anybody. Now, I'm not saying we have to stress ourselves out, and I understand that not everybody is in a position to be able to, you know, be on top of their kids all day, like, hey, get this done, get this done. But I think at the same time, if you set those expectations and you create a routine, your children will learn how to do those things themselves. I mean, of course, depending on age, but I mean, even the younger ones, you know, in preschool and whatnot, learn routines and how to transition from activity to activity. So, you know, like I said, on their sticky notes, I'll put what their reading and writing activities are in the morning. We've been doing letter writing about every other day, where we write and mail a letter to a friend or a family member that we're not seeing right now. And we've actually already got a couple back. The kids have been really excited. So that's something that we're definitely doing regularly, and they're excited about that. I think it's important to keep it exciting. What do your kids want to do? You know,
and you're also teaching a life skill. You're also teaching skills that are not really taught, you know, hammered on in school like they were back in the day. It just is what it is. I think this is a great time for that.
Such a good opportunity, I think, to like I said, expand, and like you said, to expand those skills as well. Now, how about, you know, real world?
How about screen time with you? Like, I know you talked about that. Do they have it at all during the day, or is it just like not at all?
What's that?
For screen time.
Okay, so usually I will put that toward the end of the day. And so screen time is limited to, we don't do any TV during the week other than like a cosmic yoga, physical activity, or Google Classroom on their iPads. They're allowed to obviously check what the teachers have been posting. Their teachers have been posting videos. One of their teachers has been doing some amazing live Google videos where the classroom can interact together. And that's been really awesome. So they do that as well. And I let them do math. So they do their IXL math on their iPads, and that Khan Academy, I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Okay.
That one loaded on their iPads, and I love that for math because I like how it tracks their different levels, and you can go in and see which you know, ones they've mastered, what they're still working on, take some step by step. You know, they can click the little helpful video on the bottom if they're stuck on a story problem. And I think that is an excellent resource. So we do that, but it's very limited. I would say they do not spend more than about 45 minutes. If they do their classroom with the teacher, it's probably more like an hour and 15, but we try to limit it and make it toward the end of the day. I just feel like for some reason in the past when I've tried it in the morning, it affected them a little bit more negatively.
Yeah.
Than it saving
Same
it.
here. I do something similar. I wait until she has to earn it anyways. And by the time she earns it, it's usually like after dinner time. And then by that time, there's like an hour before bed, which I strategically do. But other than that, it's literally like IXL, we definitely love reading A to Z, all those kinds of things. Before I let you go today, I know I kept you probably a little longer than you thought, but before I let you go today, I want you to ask a question that I've been getting a lot, because a lot of parents, I only have 2 kids, you only have 2 kids, but you might have more insight than me. Do you have any tips or suggestions for people that have kids at multiple ages? I can't even imagine, because the struggle is real for me. Do you have any idea for those parents who, again, aren't educators, who are dealing with multiple kids, just any tips, advice, what can maybe help them manage it all?
Well, I have a kindergartner and a first grader, and I actually find it extremely beneficial because my daughter loves to be the teacher. So there are portions of our day and on their sticky notes where it says that she is the teacher for that time being. So what she does is she usually reads to him, and she has taught herself to ask him questions. She'll stop and let him read the words that he already has mastered or ones that he can sound out. She's very, very patient with him. But I think definitely, I know I was talking to a couple of other moms with siblings too, and if you can help your children partner with each other and help each other out, it gives you an opportunity to, answer emails and do some things while they're independently working as well. And I think making that, a part of your day is really important and can be very helpful depending on, let's say even if you have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, that 4-year-old can be empowered by asking them and explaining to them that there are things that they can do with the 2-year-old and for the 2-year-old to help them out. Even if it's a picture walk through a book, it doesn't have to be anything super serious, or teaching them how to draw something, or cutting things out of catalogs or magazines and making a collage, or cutting out grocery ads and creating, a little scenario of what you want to have for dinner. Those are all little things that they can help and teach each other. And like you said, even about the outdoors, you can take so much learning outdoors. You can even take learning, if it's raining outside, to the window and have them journal out the window at things they see, comparisons. There's just so much that I think you can do as far as the outdoors. And whenever it's nice, we take out our journals and we do as much as possible on finding things. And you can find that on the blog too. Different ideas you can do indoors, and a whole list of ideas that you can do outdoors that you're able to adapt to whatever your needs may be.
Awesome. That was such great information. And the whole empowering piece where, it doesn't have to be a kid that's super older. It can be the 4-year-old teaching the 2-year-old. I think that's so helpful. Thank you so much. So before I let you go today, I just want to let people know how they can get in touch with you if they have any further questions. Also, before you leave, make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Comment below, leave us your questions. We're here to help. But let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Well, we could just go right on to the blog.birdyboutique.com that Ebony will post below, and feel free to email us as well. shop@birdyboutique.com. We'll help any way we can. We love giving back, and we will do our best to help you through this time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna, for taking the time today. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will check you guys out tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ebony.
Thank you. Sorry.